So, all of us make life-altering decisions every single day. We decide what professions to pursue, where to go to school, who to date, who to marry, hopefully at different times, and whether to have kids, where do we work, where do we live, whether to buy a house or not. And we make those decisions somehow without a boss. Yet, when we go to work, apparently we're too stupid to make a decision. Why is that? So we've been operating under a hierarchy for over 1,000 years. And we first see this in the feudal system. Churches have used it, and the religions have used it, and militaries have used it. And the hierarchy is a great system for scaling out command and control. Now, in a modern era, the reason why we use hierarchy is because we want to have absolute alignment in mission and purpose, clarity of our vision. We want to have absolute clarity in who's accountable for what, and what is it individuals do, and what is it they're accountable for. And that's what we've been told in terms of why we organize as a hierarchy. Now, the reality is somewhat a little bit different. In fact, what we see instead of this clarity is we see bureaucracy, politics. We see lack of accountability. We see lack of clarity in what is it that individuals do, and actually how do they add value to an organization. Organizations have been struggling with a hierarchy for many years. And some companies they're frustrated with this hierarchy system because they actually cannot adapt to a changing external environment. They can't be responsive enough, they can't make decisions fast enough in order to be competitive in their segments. And in addition, organizations are frustrated with the hierarchy because they don't feel like they're really maximizing the talent and the intellect of their employees. Now, employees are frustrated because they feel like, they're being told what to do and how to do something, when in fact, they are the sensors of the organization, and they're closest to the work, closest to the problems, and in fact have the best information for making decisions. So companies have been struggling with this, and the question is there a different way of organizing? So let me tell you about one company. This is the Morningstar Company. They're a tomato processing company in California. They started in 1970. They are in an agricultural business that sees 1% market increase year over year. But as a company itself, they see their own market share or their performance doubling, or 2-digit percentage growth year over year. That company has 23 business units. It has 3 different manufacturing facilities, several hundred employees, and for the last 20 years, that company has been operating with no managers. In fact, the employees themselves set their own salary. Now, they're not alone. There's another company, Valve, the most successful gaming company in the world. They have more revenue per employee than any other gaming company. They have over nearly 500 employees, and since they've begun, more than 10 years ago, they've never had a manager. Another company, Spotify, they are a music streaming company in the UK, $1 billion business, $1 billion business a year, and they're shifting away from hierarchy into self-organizing systems. Zappos, $2 billion a year e-commerce business in Las Vegas, 1,300 employees. They've dumped the hierarchy and they're switching to a self-organizing, self-governing system. And in fact, there's more than 1,000 companies worldwide that are dumping their hierarchy and switching to a self-organizing, self-governing system. The question is, would such a system actually work at a university, perhaps, or maybe in government? The answer is yes. In my division, e-government division, the state of Washington, we operate a self-organizing system called Holacracy. We've been operating this system for over 9 months. In my division, there are no managers. Employees, they design the roles that are needed in order to do the work that comes into the division and achieve the purpose of our division. The employees decide which roles to fill based on individual skills, talents, abilities, passions, interests. All of us have experienced operational meetings, which go on for an hour, and maybe you talk about a particular topic, and this just sort of drags out. And at the end of the meeting, you have a decision, finally. The decision is to continue the conversation in the next meeting. Right? How many have had those kind of meetings, right? They're drag out. Yeah, we all have had those, yes. And you're lucky if in your operational meetings you have 1 or 2 decisions come out of those meetings. In our eGov division, in our operational meetings, we have those as well. But since we operate Holacracy with our absolute clarity and empowerment of the individuals and clarity in the role and the accountabilities of those roles, and those roles have full authority to execute against the purpose, the average time for us to raise, discuss, and resolve an operational issue in our meetings is 2 minutes. We routinely resolve 20 to 25 operational issues every single meeting. So the question really isn't, is a Holacracy or a self-organizing system something that will work in your organization or in other organizations? The question really is, are we actually willing to continue to perpetuate the lie of a hierarchical system rather than change the reality?